In this video, I'm gonna solve the CORS error in a Spring Boot project, having Spring Security. I've already done a video where I solved the CORS error only with the Spring Boot web dependency. But there is a difference. In my last video, I've implemented a method of the interface WebMvcConfigurer. This interface has a method named addCourseMapping. There I've added a mapping where I allow some requests from an origin. But this interface belongs to the dependency WebMvc. All the requests handled by WebMvc will be impacted. The rest of the requests won't be affected by this configuration. Requests like JSF, Servlet, JAX Web Service, JAX RS won't be impacted by the CORS configuration. Let's see the alternative. When configuring Spring Security, I have a method like this. To use it, I need to implement CORS configuration source. This class also comes from the web dependency. But when using the Spring Security, this configuration is used in the CORS filter. But if you only use the WebMvc requests, both solutions have the same behavior. Let's now implement the solution with Spring Security. But first, click on the subscribe button to never miss a video. Let's create my project with a Spring Initializer. I choose the group, the artifact. I select the packaging as jar, the Java version 17, the latest Spring Boot version, a Maven project, and Java. I will only add two dependencies: web and security. Let's download it and open it with IntelliJ. First, I will create an endpoint which returns nothing but a string. I create a new package, controllers, and my controller. Greetings, controller. I add the REST controller annotation and the get mapping. Greetings. It returns a response entity of an object, content, DTO. Greetings. Return response entity. Okay, new content, DTO. Hello from backend. Let's create this DTO. Create as a record in the DTO's package. String content. Nothing more. I can't test the endpoint right now because my application has Spring Security and all the routes are protected by default. So I will configure Spring Security to open all the routes. This is just for simplicity. Let's create a null package, configs, and my class, security config. I add the configuration notation and enable the web security. I declare the bin for the security filter chain with HTTP security, HTTP. I set the exception handling, customizer, authentication entry point as a new HTTP status entry point, which returns always the unauthorized HTTP code. Here it is. I disable the CSRF for simplicity. Let's add the exceptions to the method. Session management. I will configure a stateless application. Customizer, session creation policy, session creation policy stateless. And now the authorized HTTP requests. For simplicity, I will take any request and permit all. And now return the security filter chain. To test my application, I will create a standalone frontend with React. npx create nx workspace latest. Let's name the project frontend. I choose React, no framework, a standalone project with Webpack, no end-to-end tests, CSS, yes, why not, and wait for all the dependencies to be installed. Let's go to the frontend project. Let's start the frontend and modify it. I first go to the main component of React, the source folder app.tsx. Here I delete the welcome component, and now I use my own HTML. A title, message received from the backend, h1, and I print the message below. It comes from a variable, backend response. I will use the use state of React for the variable, const backend response and set backend response. Use state. I initialize it to nothing and add the import. Use state from React. I will also import use effect. I can see nothing because I don't call the backend. Let's now use the use effect to call the backend. I return no action. I create a method, an async method, where I fetch the backend data. Data await fetch. HTTP localhost 8080 greetings. I read the JSON data, that JSON, and save the result to the backend response variable. JSON data, the field content. And now I call my method API. I can see errors. Let's see the console. I can see in the greetings method an error. The CORS error. Here it is. So it's time to configure the CORS with Spring Security. Let's go to the Spring Security configuration. I will declare another bean. CORS configuration source. CORS configuration. New CORS configuration. In the configuration, I set the allowed origins with the URL of my frontend. I add the allowed methods, get and post. This must also be a list. And now URL based CORS configuration source, new URL based CORS configuration source, and I register to the source the configuration to the path for all the routes, and finally I return the source. And in the Spring Security configuration, I add the CORS method, where I add the CORS configuration source. Let's test again the frontend with this configuration. Now I can see the response from my backend. If I open the console, I can see both greetings requests. One is the pre-flight and the other is the get method. Most of the time both solutions work the same way. But the recommendation from Spring is to use the implementation I've done today if you use Spring Security. One last thing, click on the like button and subscribe to my channel to support my work. And see you soon, bye!